Hey everybody, it's time to continue the story, chapter 15 of Alienated. But before we start, time for a shout out. Today's shout out goes all the way to Wisconsin, to Owen. Owen, I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're staying safe, staying in, and importantly, helping out around the house. Make sure you listen to everything your dad has to say. All right, let's crack on. This is chapter 15, Outrunning the Air Force. While Sonia tried to reboot the cloaking mechanism, I'd taken Houston's place in the cockpit and was racing us north towards Groom Lake. Unidentified craft, do not attempt to enter United States airspace. Identify yourself or you will be fired upon. The warning rang through the ship as we approached the southern U.S. border. How long until we go invisible? I asked. I don't know, said Sonia, fiddling with the wires and exposed computer components under the dashboard. I bought the cloaker off eBay. It didn't come with a manual. Unidentified craft. If you enter United States airspace, you will be fired upon. We have weapons locked. I flinched as two fighter jets descended from above, flanking us closely. Your Air Force is a bit serious, aren't they? Said Sonia. You haven't met my father, have you? I said, thinking of my dad, a once 4-star Air Force general turned chief stationary officer. For a second, I actually considered phoning Dad to ask him to call off the impending airstrike. But even if he did believe me, I was guilty of breaking 2 of his rules, and as we were rapidly approaching 9 o'clock, I was about to go for the hat-trick. He'd ground me for infinity. And while this airborne egg wasn't technically a rocket, I didn't want to take the chance that NATO would overlook the semantics and hand me over to the Russians as soon as we landed. No, we were on our own, and I had to outrun the greatest air force on the planet. Unidentified craft, we have weapons locked. Repeat, we have weapons locked, and we will fire unless you leave United States airspace immediately. Do you copy? Ah! Came a deep bellow from the cabin. Octo was clearly in pain. Water hurts more than fire. I say we turn back, urged Houston. Expulsion is preferable to destruction. Very preferable, I said, but Octo needs medical attention. Maybe we can reply to that warning. Reply, Sonia said. With what? I don't even know how we're hearing them. What? I said. We're hearing them from your radio, aren't we? Nope, she said. I've got MP3 in here, but no radio. Seriously, who listens to the radio? Unidentified craft, we have weapons locked. Repeat, we have weapons locked, and we will fire unless you leave United States airspace immediately. Do you copy? No radio? I shouted. Well, what is this thing? Just some sort of space go-kart? Watch it, co-pilot. I heard another groan from the cabin, and as Octo nursed his wounds. You okay back there, big guy? I asked. Ned's passed out, and I'm in a world of pain, he grumbled. So yeah, we're just peachy. It seems, Houston announced, that I have been acting as a radio receiver, an audio amplifier. Oh, well, good, I said. So you can reply, right? Nope, Houston said. You don't even have a radio, I said. I don't have that app. Unidentified craft, we have weapons locked. Repeat, we have weapons locked, and we will fire unless you leave United States airspace immediately. How about GPS, I asked. Of course, it's standard. Good, show me where we are. Houston immediately projected a 3D holographic map of the American Southwest from his eyes onto the dashboard. I found what I was looking for, a great big hole in the middle of the landscape, the Grand Canyon. There! We're going to lose them in there, I said, pushing the steering column forward and dropping us into a steep dive. I gave the eggcraft all of the speed I could and zoomed down towards the scar in the earth. I'd seen Will Smith do this on Independence Day, fleeing from an alien fighter craft in his F-18. And if it was good enough for Will, it was good enough for Sherman. Of course, the roles were reversed here, and I was the one piloting an alien spacecraft, fleeing from the F-18s, and I just hoped those pilots hadn't seen the movie. I focused my mind and weaved us through the crevices. Even though it was night, Sonia's windshield digitally illuminated every rock of the canyon. I had perfect visibility. Suddenly, the aircraft pulsed red. They're firing on us, Sonia shouted. Can't say they didn't warn us, Houston said. I put us into a controlled spiral as a missile slammed into the rock wall above. Chunks of America's greatest natural wonder rained down on the aircraft, but the organic shell held up well. Aren't you glad I checked the hull before takeoff? Quipped Houston. I was. Bongo, shouted Sonia. I don't think this is the time for music, I said, banking into a tight curve. No, bongo, I've done it. I fixed the cloaker, she said. coming up from under the dashboard and taking the seat beside me. "Oh, I think you mean bingo." "If you say so," she said, "but either way, we're invisible now, so let's get our patients back to base." "Need the cream," called Octo again. "It's in my truck. Oh, sweet, sweet, soothing cream." "I'll get you there as fast as I can," I said. I swung us up and out of the canyon, the F-18 still zooming through the dark crevices below, searching for a target that had just disappeared from their radar. I wondered how they were going to explain our disappearance to their superiors. Maybe we just add to the UFO conspiracy theory. I liked the idea of being the only human in the canyon of alien sightings. I hung a left and flew us back as fast as possible to base, following Houston's GPS projection. We zipped across southern Nevada to Groom Lake. The night was clear, and above the desert, 1,000,000 stars sparkled in the sky. It was an amazing view, and just for a moment, I thought of Mom. I'd programmed her rocket to release her ashes once the rocket hit 60,000 feet. Now, I knew it wasn't actually her, but I smiled to myself in the knowledge that little specks of her DNA were orbiting the Earth between the planet and those brilliant stars. My wandering mind had drifted the eggcraft skyward, and I refocused to regain control. Within minutes, I had lowered the eggcraft back down to the scrapyard, to the exact spot where we'd departed from. "That was mighty good flying, co-pilot," said Sonia. "Thanks," I said. "It felt good." And it did. As I loosened my grip on the steering column, I let out a big sigh. It wasn't just relief, but something more. Satisfaction. I only wish Dad could have seen how well I'd flown. I'd never wanted to follow in his footsteps as a pilot, but still, I was pretty impressed with myself. "Ooh," purred Octo from outside, having raced to his truck the second we had touched down. Ned had come to when we landed and then stumbled off looking dizzy. No word of thanks for the trip. I squeezed out of the cockpit and spotted his phone wedged into the cushions of his seat. I pocketed it and made a mental note to give it back to him tomorrow. I stepped down the eggcraft's gangplank behind Houston and found Octo scooping up purple cream from a barrel in his truck, lathering it all over his injured tentacle. "Feeling better?" "Much," he said, taking another scoop and rubbing it in. "Oh yeah, that tingling sensation means it's working." "Sorry about not getting that fire out faster," I said. "Flames ain't fun, but water's worse," he said. "I'm allergic to it." "That must be inconvenient," I said, "on a planet 70% covered in the stuff. 30% dry land is more than enough for me. Can you check if I missed a spot?" I shook my head. "I think you're good." "Then let's see those holo photos, metal man." As Sonia used the remote keyring to lock the eggcraft, Octo led us into the empty hangar next to the office building where Houston could project the images he had taken of the volcano. Yes, we'd had an eventful night, but we still had a planetology presentation to prepare for. I marveled at how real the images looked as Houston flashed them onto the giant white metal wall. Brrr, brrr, brrr. My pocket was vibrating. "I think Ned's got a text," I said, grabbing the phone from my pocket and reading the message aloud. "Great work, Ned. Yum, yum. Extraction in 8 weeks. Dad. P.S. You've earned yourself a pairing. Choose a hottie." Houston shuddered and the volcano images vanished. "Did you say extraction?" he asked. "Yeah, what does it mean?" We all leaned in to hear the answer. "The end of the world," Houston said. All right, that's chapter 15. I'll start again on Monday next week. Tune back in again. Make sure you subscribe if you want to get all the story. And everybody stay safe. Take care of each other. Thanks for listening.